Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This week we are starting a brand new project. Me and Sandra just picked up a 1992 Airstream Limited. It's a little bit of a project, but if you've seen the older videos on my channel, you know that we are also working on a 1969 Airstream Safari. So this 1992 that we just bought is quite a bit less work. I've got to pull out this nightstand because the subfloor that needs to be repaired is inside the nightstand, and maybe on the side of the bed too, in that little area right there. But I haven't pulled it out yet, so I'm not sure. There's one screw in this back corner right there, and then along the wall right here inside the cabinet, I think there was 4 more. So I've got those pulled out, and I'm going to pull the nightstand out and just set it on the bed for now. And then I'll look and see how much damage we've actually got down there. It's all covered in carpet too, so it's really hard to tell how bad it is right now. We'll find out in a minute. Here's under the nightstand. You can see the frame right there. Of course, it is worse than I was expecting. I had to take a break. I bought this Airstream kind of the same reason I bought the Scamp. I was looking for a smaller project, and when I started looking for another Airstream, I was actually hoping to buy something that was just ready to camp like the Scamp was. The Scamp is really nice for short trips, if it's just me and Sandra. But we've used it a lot in the last year, staying out here at this new property of ours. You know, as convenient as the Scamp is to tow, it doesn't really fit my needs anymore. I would love to keep both, and just take the Scamp out on short trips. Our immediate goal and plans for the Airstream is to be more comfortable while we're staying at the property, until we have a permanent home out here. Because we've been using the Scamp for a year. We sleep in it well, not that often, every week, but I was hoping that this one would just need some minor repairs. I knew it needed a lot of stuff. I knew that electrical wasn't working. The 120 volt AC and the 12 volt DC systems were both completely non-functional. The AC, it took me some time to figure out, but they actually cut off the power inlet. I hooked up like a temporary plug and got all the AC working. I did have a few repairs here and there, but I mean, it was like almost nothing. And you know, when stuff isn't working, you just you have to figure out like how everything works, because they've removed part of systems, and then the converter is actually inside this box. That box is completely enclosed with absolutely no way to get into it. There's no access at all. That was a huge pain. And the only reason I even figured out that it was for sure in there, because that's what everybody says, it's supposed to be under that window right there. And I'm like, no, mine's not. Mine's not there. Well, it's there There's no way to get in there, and I only found out because the converter kept like cycling on and off. You could hear the converter clicking. It's right there underneath that window where everybody tells you. How did I get on that subject? Oh, repairs. So I was really hoping that this trailer only needed minor repairs. I bought this trailer in hopes that I could start using it like pretty quickly, like as few repairs as possible. Of course, like I said, I knew that it needed some repairs. I was just hoping that the repairs would be pretty simple. And I got lucky with most of it. Even the furnace, if the furnace doesn't work, or the water heater, if the water heater doesn't work, those two are, I mean, I guess for a lot of people that might be a big job, but those are pretty easy. I mean, you know, you can do those in a day. It's not that difficult. Replacing subfloor, you know, maybe I'm making a bigger deal than what it really is. But I'm gonna have to take the whole bed out now. And there's a compartment to the outside end of that bed. Hopefully all that's easy. I don't know, man. I'm just feeling real defeated all of a sudden. I'm getting back to work. So I'm clearing off the bed. Gotta move the fan and these couple of tools still. And then I'm gonna start pulling the bed apart and getting it out of the way. I gotta get to work. Time to quit complaining and start working, because it's probably not even really that difficult to do. It's just like once you start doing it, it'll be halfway done, honestly. So let's just do it. Okay, so to start getting the bed out of here, there's 2 gas struts, one on each side, and they clip on right there. There's literally a little metal clip on the end of that you just pull out, and then the gas strut will come off of there. And then there's a piano hinge right there. Just take the screws out all the way across there. So I'm going to pull those screws out next, and then there's screws on these little aluminum. There's pieces of aluminum, like angle, and so just take the screws out of that, and that'll let you pull it up off the floor. So it ends somewhere around here. Starts getting solid right there. That's pretty solid. So from like here back is all trash. The rear sheet of OSB back here is 80 inches by whatever the width is, 90
2 or whatever the width is on those, I forget. But I've never seen a sheet of plywood, OSB, anything. Especially in an Airstream, I've never seen anything larger than 4 foot. And there's no seam down the middle. This is, I'm like fairly certain this is all original. This is how Airstream built it. So this is what I've done so far. It's part of the bed and the rear hatch. That's floor tiles. More of the bed, and then the rest of the bed and the rear hatch. And then I pulled all of the tiles up all the way around, and now I just need to clean up. Here's where we're at with the Airstream. You can see I've taken the lower skins off. They added this air conditioner back here in the bedroom. We're in the back of the travel trailer, the very, very back. The breaker box for the trailer is right here. That's the 110 volt breaker box. And since they added this air conditioner, they just ran a wire down this wall and then made a couple of holes down there, drilled a hole through the floor. I went ahead and ran a 6-gauge cable from the breaker box, and I put in a 50 amp disconnect down here. And then I also ran a 12-gauge with a 20 amp breaker, and it just goes to this area over here. I bought the 1/2-inch snap-in bushings for this 12-gauge wire, which is eventually gonna go through here and then through this outrigger. There's another outrigger over there, and then meet up with this 12-gauge wire that they ran, and there's already a junction box. I've already got all of the subfloor cleaned up, cut out square. I've actually got the radius cut. I don't know if I filmed that or not, because I did that the other day. But I've already got the radius cut for these back corners. Here's how far I got today. This piece is in. I've got it all screwed down. I need to put a couple of bolts all the way through here with some elevator bolts, which I'm actually just going to use like a regular bolt. And then there's another one that goes through the frame right there. And there's one that goes through this outrigger right here. And then there's, I think, 3 right there. Gotten to this very last section. So I've got an outrigger here and then the frame here, but nothing on this side. And so instead of cutting it back even further, what I'm going to do is put this piece of plywood under here, and I'm going to glue it with some waterproof wood glue, and then I will drive screws through the decking. I'll put probably about 4 screws or so through this part of the decking into that plywood, and then that'll give me something to screw that other edge to. And then the back edge right there will go into the U channel. Alright, I got the first one in. I'm going to put a few more, but now you kind of get an idea. So I'm going to glue the new piece of subfloor on here as well, and that will essentially make these one piece. And then I'll have the little piece of frame here and outrigger here. This section right here, there's actually an outrigger back. They're set there back to back, I guess, because this one is solid, because this is a compartment. It's where you put the wire for the 30 amp 120. So let me put a few more screws. You do want to make sure that is a tight fit. You don't want a gap there, because you're relying on the glue to hold this together, not the screws. So you want to make sure you get those screws tight, even if it is countersunk way too much. You can see I don't know if you can tell in the video, but it's countersunk way too much. But it doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure that's a tight fit. See that? You can't have a gap like that. Yeah, you want that glue squirting out like that. There you go, that's good. Alright, it's kind of a mess back here, but I'm getting it put back together finally. So we've got the subfloor replaced. Again, there's a seam down the middle, but there is also a brace that goes right through the middle, at least to here. I'm not sure if it goes all the way up front, it might, but it does go through here. And then I showed you guys in this area, I put a scrap piece of plywood underneath, covered it in waterproof wood glue, and screwed to the old subfloor and to the new subfloor. And this edge is on the frame. This edge is on a cross member. A outrigger. I did put the bolt back in through the outrigger, and then there's 3 bolts in each corner, another bolt through the frame, and then the rear cross member, there's 5 bolts, and I did put the steel plates back on there as well. And then I've already got the first piece of the interior skin put back. And we're even going to go ahead and put new electrical outlets. The old ones were old and yellow, and they had screws showing in them. So here, this is what they look like. Full of scratches. You can see the whole the screws in the front. Here's a quick update where we're at. I'm gonna move this underneath this wood once I get a little bit further along. I want to keep an eye on it and make sure I don't knock this too far, because I don't want it coming through the wall, the underside of the wall, and going into the bathroom, because the bathroom is going to have different flooring. But anyway, I had to put a little bit of leveler over here on this seam right here. You can see a little bit right there. And then it wasn't quite level right there, so I needed a little bit in that spot. And then I caulked all the seams. Actually, I siliconed all the seams. And then I just put a coat of paint on the floor. I just used some cheap paint that I already had, just to try to seal it a little bit better. I should have used epoxy, but I didn't. I just painted it. Anyway, that's where we're at. So I guess I'm probably about a third of the way done with the flooring already. It's going pretty fast. So I'll give you another update when I get a little further along. Maybe when I get to this. So this is old flooring, except for that little patch right there. And then that's new. I just got to that line. So I'm just now starting the row where the patch was made in the back. So all of the old subfloor is done. I did go ahead and push it back to the point where it needs to be, because I actually forgot to do it for a second, and it needed to go back like half an inch, so I ended up having to cut that again, which wasn't a big deal, but you know, I just shaved a little bit off with the utility knife. So the threshold is going to be right here. That tile, I'm going to glue down a couple of pieces right here to fill that in, and then this will be finished. So I'm about to trace the next one for the curve. We're into the curve right now, so I'll have to cut the curve on every single piece from here on out, which isn't that difficult, honestly. It's a little bit of work, but it's not that hard. So let me get the next one done. Here's the finished product. It's actually nicer than I thought it was gonna be. I don't hate it. It's a tiny gap around the edge, which you need. That one was a mistake, but this is all covered because of that pipe anyway. And I still have to fill in this hole right there. But turned out nice. So here's the aftermath. Little shavings everywhere. I'll clean that up next.
Let me figure out what's top and bottom. Okay, knife. Try not to. Should we read instructions?
I wouldn't think so, but I don't know, maybe.
That open. Try not to cut near the mattress because I didn't want to. Let's see. Yeah, try that.
There it goes. Wow, it's expanding fast. I didn't think they usually expanded that fast.
Let's see, I should just open this end and just fold it. Might make it easier. That rips. That direction.
I want to lay down. Ah. What do you think?